Hi, I'm Owen Casey Stevens, and this is the story of how my friend John ended up buying me a new microwave. Um, a lot of gaming occurred at my and my wife's house. LJ and I were frequently the people that had the gaming table, and we would lay in snacks, and one of the two of us was often roughing, although a lot of our friends ran games too. So it was pretty normal for people to come over to our place several times a week and frequently bring snacks and whatever to help cover the cost of running such an event. And we had a microwave, and we had a microwave with a rotary dish back when that was not at all common. And unfortunately, just before this story actually takes place, we broke the dish. We pulled something out. I think it was a bag that you had beans in that you heat up as a heating pad, and the dish had shattered. So there was a little tiny nub in the microwave, a little three-pronged thing that rotated, and we had not yet bothered to buy a new plate to sit and rotate, so we just got in the habit of balancing anything we wanted to microwave on that little three-pronged nub, and it worked fine, if not particularly reliably. Unfortunately, it did not occur to us to tell our friends that we were supposed to have a plate and a rotary microwave and didn't. So during one game night, we had a game. My wife wasn't in it, and she had work the next day. She was in bed in the back room of the apartment, and my friend John decided to make popcorn, microwavable popcorn. And he had a bag of popcorn that you're supposed to throw in the microwave, and it carefully said that you put it in the microwave for 4 to 6 minutes. So he figured he would put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and then come check on it and see how often it was popping and reset it if necessary. And under normal circumstances, this would have been a fine plan. Unfortunately, when he tossed it into our microwave, it sat in a hot spot where the microwave concentrated all of the microwaves that the plate is supposed to be passing through. And he set it for 3 minutes, and it burned. And it burned, and it burned, and we didn't notice until one of us said, "Hey, do you smell something burning?" And we looked up. No, this apartment had a galley kitchen, which was basically a hallway with all the appliances on one side. And what we saw was a vertical wall of bright pumpkin orange smoke that was perfectly level and moving forward down the hallway towards us. And we freaked out. I ran in to see what was going on. I immediately started choking. I ripped open the microwave because I realized it was the problem. And not only had the bag become a briquette, but the fire from the bag of now charred popcorn remains had started to melt the plastic on the inside of our microwave. I've got tears coming out of my eyes. I feel like I've been tear gassed. It's right next to a window, so I tore the window open, staggered out, coughing. Everyone else is fleeing, and I realize, oh my God, LJ's asleep in the back room, and my entire apartment is filling with pumpkin orange smoke. She may die. So I ran to the back bedroom, tore open the door, stepped in, closed it, took a few deep breaths, determined that there was in fact no smoke in here. Great, opened the window so she would have ventilation, and ran out. Of course, if you've ever had me run into a room you're sleeping in, rustle about, take a few deep breaths, throw open a window, flee, and slam the door, you are aware, as my wife was after that day, that this is not something one easily sleeps through. Also, while there was no smoke in the room when I got there, when I left, the smoke had reached the hallway, so when I opened the door and slammed it shut again, a big puff of the bright orange smoke made it into the room. So my wife woke up in confusion, asking what was going on. I had already left. There was orange smoke. She's choking. We're all running out of the house. She comes staggering out. She's wearing her little pink fuzzy slippers. She's trying to figure out what's going on. Her eyes are watering. She rushes out of the apartment. The fire department came by because when we threw open the windows, there were huge plumes of orange smoke coming out. We assured them that the microwave had caught on fire, but we'd stopped it. They insisted on going in and checking, which I think was reasonable, and told us that, yeah, it was all fine now, but whatever you did with your microwave, don't. John felt terrible. He just felt awful about it. I actually felt that we were at least modestly responsible because we had not informed him that we were using a not fully functional and probably not up to spec microwave. And my wife was pissed because she wasn't playing in that game that night, and she had work the next day, and I had woken her up by slamming the door, slamming the window, and gassing her with poisonous toxins. We all had raspy voices for the next several days. We did run the game that night. LJ and I managed to wipe the orange grime off the walls of our apartment, thank God, And a few days later, a very sheepish John showed up with a new microwave for us. We tried to tell him we would cover part of it, but he absolutely would not hear any of that. He felt he had melted the interior of our microwave and nearly gassed LJ to death, and the least he could do was buy us a new microwave. If you happen to come over to our house in Kent now, our apartment, you may notice that on top of our current rotary microwave is a spare plate. We've owned a spare plate for every microwave we have owned since that day, because we never want to deal with the wall of bright orange smoke again, even though that was an interesting experience, and the game later that night was good times.